Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the absolutely crazy junior hockey discussion group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Hopefully this morning you are in your car, well, not watching the show from your car. Might be a little dangerous. At your desk, wherever you are, hope that you are enjoying this great Thursday morning in January 4th, 2024. Eric, I got it right this time.
Yeah, you did, buddy. Nice job. You've been practicing.
The Milagro. And here I am busting out. Here's what happened this morning. I get up and I tell Tommy, hey, Tommy Strong, which is code word for to make the coffee really black. So dark and strong that you can have to stir it with a fork. And he comes back about 8:45. Dad, bad news. No coffee. Oh, God. So I'm drinking English tea. My buddy Sal Solo.
Chamomile?
No, it's English black breakfast tea. What's it called?
I'm sure you'll get through the day, buddy.
I don't know. Very black and bold. Gotta have the caffeine in the morning. All right. My guest today, once again, Eric Ballard. We'll get him again tomorrow before the finals. We are approaching the last games of the 2024 International Ice Hockey Federation World Junior Championship in Sweden. In today's matchups, Germany has already set Norway down a level with their 5-4 overtime win this morning in the relegation game. The semifinal between Sweden and Czechia is getting started right now. And at 1:30 Eastern, we get United States and Finland. Bals, you were up one game with that win this morning for Germany.
Yeah, it's buddy, like we talked about before. What was you asked me a question? What was the highlight of the junior World Juniors? And I just said, you know what? Anybody can be upset at any time, and there's been so many upsets. I took Germany over Norway. I just thought Germany had been coming on a little bit stronger down the stretch, and I didn't get up early enough to watch that game. But sounds like I took a 1-0 lead on you at the very end, so we'll save the best for last.
I have a family in Germany, and first thing I saw this morning was them bitching at me. Did I say a bad word?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm in trouble. My wife's gonna kill me. Why would you pick Norway over Germany? And I said, because Bals picked Germany, and I wanted to shake things up a little bit. And my goodness, once I shake it up. All right. Sweden earned shutout victories in its first 3 games of the tournament before 5-4 shootout loss to Finland in the final preliminary round game on New Year's Eve. The Swedes rebounded with a dramatic 3-2 overtime win against Switzerland when Axel Palika, Detroit Red Wings, scored a power play goal at 5:22 of the extra period in the quarterfinal round on Tuesday. Bals?
I watched that game in its entirety, and the Swiss, boy, I tell you, the Swiss had them on the ropes. They did not quit. And Finland. I think Finland is one of those teams right now. Obviously, they're very good. They got a lot of depth. I think they're going to run into a little bit of a buzzsaw with Czechia today. So, again, it's anybody's game any day, but I definitely have Czechia over the Finns today.
Well, Czechia defeated Canada 3-2 in the quarterfinal round to advance to the medal round, a second straight year following a 3-2 overtime loss to Canada in the 2023 championship game. You got to like Czechia in this game. I think I picked the Swedes because, again, I want to be different. Sweden is playing at home. That does give them some advantages. We'll see what happens. But for Sweden to have 2 soft games in a row is kind of a way to question my thoughts here a little bit. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, if you watched the game, you saw that the Swiss went down the minute 50 left in the third, and then they gave them another power play. The Swedes another power play in overtime. And I'm not saying they weren't calls, but the optics are, you're playing in Sweden, you're playing at home, and they definitely needed those two bumps because I truly believe if they didn't get that power play in the overtime round, the Swiss might have taken them. So the Swedes better show up, even though they're playing at home. They almost play like they're almost a little too overconfident, and when they finally turn the gas on, they're really good. But the problem is in a game like this, where loser goes home, you don't have the ability to take shifts and periods off. So they better come ready for a full game.
We've seen that in a lot of junior hockey when kids are on teams that are overwhelming their opponents on their schedule, and it comes time for the playoffs, and they don't perform as well because they really haven't been challenged during the season. We've seen that out of the East Division of the North American Hockey League. We've seen that in various levels. Brooks, for a long time in Alberta, would dominate the AJ and then not do very well on the national side. They won a couple recently, but before, I think the fact that they didn't really have much competition in league play led that to a disappointment in the playoffs and then the national championships.
I would agree with you, Steve. I think that you play to the level you're at. Very seldom as a junior team, are you able to consistently play at a high level no matter what. And they're still young men. So I agree with you. If it's a soft schedule and things come a little easier than they normally should, you're not fighting through adversity and you're not really pushing the envelope. And before you know it, you're down a goal, down 2 goals, and you're fighting back. And more importantly, in these World Juniors, nothing screws up a better game plan than a hot goalie. And a hot goalie can change the outcome of a game.
Absolutely. The United States plays Finland at 1:30 p.m. today. The U.S. has outscored the opposition 36-11 in 5 straight wins, including a 7-2 victory against Latvia in the quarterfinal round Tuesday. The U.S. has won 11 of its past 15 World Junior Championship games against Finland, including 6-2 in last year's preliminary round, and is 15-3-0-18 with 1 tie in the last 37 games. Wow. Bals?
Yeah, there's no question. I think, again, take nothing away from the Finns, and I'm not being biased, but USA is just stacked. And they've got the depth, they've got the roster, they've got experience, they've got it all. They've got a great coaching staff. There's no question the U.S., in my mind, is the favorite, not only to win this game, but to win the whole thing now that Canada's out. I truly believe that it's going to be a good start to the game, but I think it's going to finish with a pretty big margin. USA, like we talked about, I think I mentioned it before, your 13th forward on Team USA is an NHL draft pick. I mean, there's not a single player on that team that can't play. And that's a kind of a testament to the coaching staff on how to manage, top end players all the way down your depth chart. I mean, that is, for Coach Carl and Larson and Miller, those guys, I mean, that's impressive to be able to manage that. You take a kid that's maybe in the 12th, 13th spot who's playing for his collegiate team or the U.S. development team, wherever he's at, and to ask him to relegate to a third line, fourth line situation, or maybe not see any PP or PK time. That's a huge testament to the coaching staff and the leadership they have in that room.
I think it also says a lot about the American players being able to assume different roles than they're used to. Like you can't have 3 lines of all skill guys. Somebody has to go into the corners, and we're seeing that with all these skill guys in this event where they're going into the corners, they're getting dirty a little bit, they're plugging up holes, they're playing physical, they're blocking shots, and a lot of those guys normally wouldn't play that role because they don't have to. And it's good to see that they have the ability to adjust and play that role in this game.
Yeah, it's a huge plug for USA Hockey and a lot of these programs that we have in our country that are, teaching these young men that sometimes you have to assume a different role, and you're not always going to be the power play guy or the first line guy or the whatever it is. But no, you bring up a great point that we have a great culture, and USA Team USA is really, they're primed to take it all this year. I see them taking the gold.
You look at Canada has the same type of roster as the United States. And I think the problem in their games was their inability to assume different roles. And that's what really played a factor in their big losses. So.
Yeah, if you watch Canada, I mean, obviously they were really stacked too. I mean, there's no question, and it's cultural, right? I can't imagine what that coaching staff's going through and the barbs and arrows they're taking up north. But they didn't come together as a team as much this year as they did last year. And whether that's leadership, whether that's personnel, whatever it is, but I think they took some of the teams kind of lightly, and they got sent home sooner than later.
I mean, it's kind of a joke running through hockey circles that they're, in Montreal, they're trying to bring up charges against the coaching staff. So because if you don't get to the gold medal game in Canada, there must be a crime. So
everybody's out to take something away from somebody they didn't earn. It's pretty sad.
Finland has won 3 straight games after consecutive losses to Canada and Germany to begin the tournament. The Finns have finished among the top 3 in 3 of the past World Juniors, gold medal in 2019, silver in 22 and 21, and are in the hunt for their 6th gold medal. I don't see it. I can see them getting a bronze possibly. We'll see what happens today.
Yeah, like I said, and again, I don't get too far ahead, but what I see is Czechia in the U.S. in the final, and the Finns and the Swedes in the second game, and it's going to be that's a big border war for those guys, right? Like, so the Finns and the Swedes, that's a really good rivalry, but I don't see the Finns overthrowing the Americans.
Through the first 24 games of the event, Eric Bauer and I have picked the exact same winners and carried 17-7 records into today's game. That was going to change today regardless. We both picked different teams, different winners in 2 of the 3 games. Eric, you got me in the relegation game. Okay, we got that. How do you feel about being a game up?
I don't know. How did we end last year? Did I win by 1 at the end, or did you win by 1? I can't even remember.
We were tied.
Oh, we were deadlocked. So, we picked the same teams game in and game out, and I think that's the advantage that you and Thomas have. You got to see my picks first, so no disadvantage for you.
I think I picked mine before him most of the time, right?
Yeah, so I'm pretty confident I'm going to go 3 for 3 today. So I think you're going to trail at the end.
Things happen. Things happen. So, all right, I picked Sweden in the game. The first semifinal. Why did you like Czechia in this game?
Say again, sorry.
I picked Sweden in this next game. Well, tonight, and then you like Czechia. So why did you pick Czechia?
Czechia is playing some of the best hockey they've played in a long time. Like they're primed. They don't get rattled. They go up by a goal, down by a goal. They're very poised. I really like the waves they come in. They're very skilled. And you don't see this huge separation where there's 2 or 3 guys at the very top and 2 or 3 guys at the bottom. There's a lot of the same, and I think they just come with so much pressure. They're confident and very poised with the puck. I think they're really playing really good hockey. And then I'm a little partial to the Czechs. Just Bobby Holik's a good friend of mine here in Jackson, and he played junior with the head coach for the Czechia team. So him and I have a conversation daily about who he is and what he was to Bobby. And the head coach's dad was Bobby Holik's mentor when he was growing up. So I'm kind of partial. I wouldn't mind seeing a Czechia U.S. final. I might end up hanging out with Holik, having coffee, and watching that one.
We got about 30 seconds left. I think we'd both be arrested and fined and jailed here in the United States if we didn't pick the U.S. in their game. We'll let that one go. Wrap this show up. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Eric, bright and early tomorrow morning. You ready?
I'm ready, buddy. I'm ready to get after it.
Cheers, folks. Hope you guys have a